These are the new CINEPEER CX100 and CM25 lights by Zhiyun. They are very compact, lightweight, easy to use, bright and aimed at people on a budget. The CX100 costs $199 and includes the light, reflector, silicon diffusion, and a USB-C charging cable. However, for an extra $100, you can upgrade to the combo kit package, which includes a DC charger, Bowens mount adapter, umbrella, and dome diffusion. As for the CM25, it costs $69 and includes the light, silicon diffusion, and a USB-C charging cable. Now, to celebrate the launch of these lights, Zhiyun is also offering a 25% discount promotion with the code which I'll put somewhere on the screen. And before we continue, a quick disclaimer: Zhiyun sent me these lights for free to test and review. However, this video is not sponsored. Everything I mention here is my complete honest opinion. With that said, let's start. Starting with the build quality, even though both of these lights are mainly made of plastic, including the buttons and dials, everything feels very solid and premium. Additionally, the CX100 has a metal heatsink that makes the light feel more premium, a very smooth modifier mounting mechanism, and a large enough side battery that you can use as a grip when holding the light. However, unfortunately, the side battery on the CX100 is not removable, which is very disappointing, but I guess they did that to cut costs as much as possible. Anyway, I also have here the Bowens mount adapter, which is a must buy in my opinion if you want to use this light with your Bowens mount accessories. However, Zhiyun doesn't recommend using it with big, heavy modifiers because it's designed to be used with lightweight, compact modifiers up to 1.3 kilograms in weight and 60 centimeters in diameter. I have a 90 centimeter rectangle softbox which weighs less than a kilo and it works just fine with this adapter. However, if you're planning to use heavy softboxes / modifiers, this might not be for you. Another thing I want to mention about this adapter, and this is purely speculative, I have a feeling that over time this inner part, the silver inner part of the adapter, will melt over time, especially if you're going to use this light at 100% of brightness a lot because of the heat produced from the LED chips. I just kind of look at it and it's too close. They're too close to each other, and I speculate that this adapter will melt over time, but again, I might be totally wrong here, so take my speculation with a big grain of salt. Anyway, moving on, in terms of weight, both of these lights are very lightweight. Here are the exact weight numbers in different configurations, which I personally measured on my scale. Moving on to ports and mounting options, the CX100 has a USB-C port for charging and powering the light with a PD charger, a DC 25-volt port for powering the light with an AC/DC adapter, 2 1/4-inch threads at the bottom, and a ZY mount for mounting Zhiyun diffusion accessories or the Bowens mount adapter. And the CM25 has a USB-C port for charging and powering on while in use, as well as a 1/4-inch thread at the bottom. As for buttons and operation, both lights can only be operated with the built-in dials. Each light has a dim and CCT dial. With the dim dial, you control the brightness, and with the CCT dial, you adjust the Kelvin value. The CX100's range is from 2700 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin, while the CM25's range is from 2700 Kelvin to 6200 Kelvin. Additionally, the CX100 has a dedicated on-off power button, which can also be used to check the battery status, while the CM25 is powered on and off with the dim dial. Another light has built-in effects, and both of them cannot be operated with a phone app. Now, the dials make using these lights very easy and quick. You can quickly adjust the brightness and also the color temperature. As you can see, it works very snappy and quick. However, I wish these lights had a phone app support because it's very hard to adjust precisely the brightness level, the color you want with these dials, especially when these lights are mounted on a light stand and you can barely see anything because it's dark and these numbers are so small on these dials, it's pretty much impossible to adjust precisely. So if you require precision when adjusting color temperature and brightness, this might not be for you. Moving on to battery and power. From my tests at 100% brightness, both lights almost delivered the same results. The CX100 lasted about 33 minutes, while the CM25 lasted about 34 minutes. At 50% brightness, the CX100 actually lasted longer at 68 minutes, while the CM25 only lasted for 60 minutes. And at the lowest brightness setting, the CX100 lasted for 6 hours, and I was too lazy to wait for the CM25's battery to deplete. It was still on 4-dot battery level after 6 hours, and I had to go to sleep. So the battery life on this light is fairly good, especially when considering the size, weight, and brightness output level. And both lights can be powered on while in use with a compatible PD charger. I have a 65 watts charger from BCS. I will leave a link for it down below if you're interested to check it out. And it works just fine with the CX100 and also the CM25. However, with the CX100, the brightness level is not as strong as on battery, and I guess it's because my charger is only 65 watts and this light is 100 watts, which means I probably need a 100 watt charger to have the full brightness of this light when plugging it in to the wall. Next, I want to talk about loudness. Both of these lights have built-in cooling fans that are fairly quiet but not dead silent. From my experience with these lights, when they are set to 100% brightness, it takes about 5 minutes for the fans to kick in, and the CM25 is actually slightly louder than the CX100, and I guess it's because the fan is smaller, creating a higher pitch. Now let's move on to color accuracy and brightness. Honestly, I don't have any tools to measure this kind of things, but I can tell you what I see with my eyes and also what Zhiyun claims. So first of all, these lights are bicolor lights. The CX100 goes from 2700 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin, while the CM25 goes from 2700 Kelvin to 6200 Kelvin. Now, according to Zhiyun, the CX100 has a CRI of 96 and TLCI of 97 with a maximum brightness of 3840 lux, measured with no reflector at 4300 Kelvin and at 1 meters distance. As for the CM25, it has a CRI of 96 and TLCI of 97 with a maximum brightness of 3360 lux, measured at 4300 Kelvin and at 0.5 meters distance. These numbers don't really mean anything to me because I can't really verify anything without having the proper tools to do it. But from what I can see with my eyes, the CX100 is very bright and color accurate. I couldn't notice any major color shifts or anything like that. Compared to my main light, which is the Colbor CL60M, the CX100 is definitely brighter and more color balanced. You can definitely see the green color shift that the CL60M has compared to the CX100. Also, with their original reflectors mounted, the CL60M has a smaller spot in the middle, whereas on the CX100 it's much bigger. However, there is one important thing I want to mention if you plan to use the CX100 with a Bowens mount softbox. Because the Bowens mount adapter is basically a reflector, at least on the inside, when you mount a softbox on it, the majority of the light is going to be right in the center, creating a very spotty centered light, which is exactly what you don't want when using a softbox, because a softbox is meant to spread the light evenly. Therefore, in my opinion, you'll have to add at least 3 layers of diffusion to completely remove the spotlight in the center, because my softbox has 2 layers and it's not enough to spread the light evenly. This is definitely something important to consider if you plan to buy this light with the Bowens mount adapter and use it with Bowens mount softboxes, and accessories. Anyway, moving on to the CM25, this light is super bright for its size. It's almost as bright as my much bigger and heavier Ulanzi 40 light. However, it definitely has a major green shift to it, which is especially noticeable when it's set to 5600 Kelvin. I turned off all the background lights to be able to show you this green tint. Let me turn it on. And I'm also going to disable all the color grading I've done to this clip, just so you can see clearly how green it looks on the wall. Let me now put the CX100 right next to it at the same color temperature. So you see how green this looks compared to this. Oh, I need to turn it on first before showing it to you. So this is the CX100 and this is the CM25. CX100, CM25. A huge difference in my opinion. I actually contacted Zhiyun about this issue and they told me that they're going to completely fix it and remove this green tint from the CM25. The lights you're going to get when they're going to be in full production are going to be completely fixed, so you don't have to worry about this green shift. I just wanted to mention that because that was the first thing I noticed with the CM25 compared to the CX100. Anyway, now let me show you a couple of real-world examples on how you can use both of these lights. To summarize, I think these new Zhiyun lights are great overall. The CX100 has pretty much the same internals as the Molus X100 at a much more affordable price, but without Bluetooth support, an LCD display on the back, or a removable battery. And the CM25 is essentially a lower tier version of the 5-ray M40. If you do a lot of traveling and need compact, bright lights, this might be a good option for you if you're okay with the limitations I've mentioned in this video. Again, don't forget about the 25% discount promotion that Zhiyun offers during the launch of these lights. I'm going to leave all the links and everything down below. And while you're there, feel free to leave a comment or a like. Thanks for watching.